All right, we're back here again with the Sonoran. We got a mission. We're going to go from the white to the black F-style tuners, and that's going to happen right now. You may be asking yourself, what the heck is an F-style tuner? Well, an F-style tuner, I don't know how well you can see, but this one has a hole in the middle, so the string gets buried inside and then wrapped around, so there's no end sticking out. This was one of the original designs back in the 50s for Fender guitars, and I want to return back to those wonderful days of yesteryear. This is a starter. It's got an end there. This is one that joins it on the way down the line. It shares the screw with the hole, and then there's another one like this that finishes it off at the end. So what we've got to do is take these tuners out. I'm going to try to save the strings and reuse them again, and hope we can get away with that. And we need to replace the bushings that are in the top, which are these black ones. That'll go with the new F-style vintage tuners on this vintage kind of guitar. So that's what we're up to. The first thing I got to do is take the strings off, and we'll get that happening in a minute. I'm going to put a capo on just to hold them as soon as I can find where I put it. All right, so I'll be right back with that. So what I just did is I placed a capo down here to hold the strings, and I'm going to unwind the strings and loosen them and take them out of the tuners. And then I'm going to flip the guitar over and take the screw out of the back and remove each one of the tuners one by one. And if we're lucky, we can save and reuse these strings all over again, which will be nice. So we're just going to take these down and take them all off. Take all the tension off, and I can unwind the strings. They should be about the same length, and I'll actually probably use a little bit less string with the new tuners than I have with these older ones. So I should have plenty of length to reuse the strings, which is kind of nice. Come out from under the tree. We'll take the last one down out from under the tree and take the tension off of all of these and disconnect the strings. And then we'll go on to the back and remove the screws that are holding all this stuff together. And take them off and go black. Oh, and I got black guitar strap pegs too for the guitar, and those are going to go on today, and then this guitar will be all set essentially. That's all I'm going to do to it. I did the fingerboard already that we did in the previous video. I like this guitar very much. It's made in China. I thought the guy I bought this at Music 123, I couldn't find the country of origin in any of their advertising pieces. It's buried inside. And then I noticed looking at my own video the other day that the country of origin was actually China and not Mexico that the guy from 123 had told me. So I don't know if he lied intentionally, he was just a dope or what. But anyway, not a big deal. We own the guitar now anyhow, any way it comes. Whether it's China or Mexico, doesn't really make much difference. So, as you can see, this is crafted by Fender for Steve Bright. That's me. This is my guitar we're doing the damage to. So hang on, we'll get ready to take these screws out. I'll try to set you up in a position where you might be able to watch if you care. How's that look? That ain't bad. That'll have to do. We'll zip out. Okay, so now we're going to start taking the screws out. We'll take it. So I've got my little lighted screwdriver with a fine tip. And we're going to start taking all these screws out from these vintage style tuners, but they're not vintage F-style tuners, which is kind of heartbreaking. I wish if they'd have gone the whole way with the vintage deal, I might have stuck with them. but they didn't. They went part of the way. That screw's coming out hard. That one's coming out hard. I might be losing the tip on the screwdriver. Let's see if I can find a newer one with a better tip. These are very fine. Maybe I should try to use a power screwdriver to get these out. It might help. I don't want to strip them. I don't want to lose them. But I do want to get them out. I'm going to go to power. Hold on. All right, so what I've done is I've gone to a power. This is a low power screwdriver with a fine tip bit and a lot of pressure. And that works pretty well. What I don't want to do is strip the screw heads and make these impossible to replace. But with the right amount of pressure, we can get these out, I hope, without doing too much damage. I think you get a good shot of the back of my head there. Can't help it, sorry. But anyway, that's what we're up to. So, you know where we're going when you see the back of my head. Oh, that one's fighting back. A brute. Let's see what we can do here. All right, I'll be back. I got to work this out. I got a tip that's strong enough, small enough, I should say, that fits in there better, and is not ending up spinning, which is bad. Totally self-defeating. So we'll go back to hand power. Good old dependable hand power wins the day. I thought power would win, but it didn't. There wasn't enough room between the two tuners to get that in there well enough to get a good enough bite to get the screw out. So there's one left. Little pieces of finish coming off there in the back. And then we're going to have to knock out the bushings to the front. This might be work. All right, we got all those guys out of there, and this is the new one. And it's looking pretty good. It looks like these are going to fit. I still got to knock the silver grommets out of the front, but the hole seems to be lining up with the hole there. And then we'll get a second one and see how that lines up, and they just pig pile in together. And the holes, this never happens. This looks like it's going to be pretty good. The holes actually line up with one another already from what's drilled. So the casting is evidently the same, which is a miracle. They're never the same. I've never had the luck of getting them out. So the next thing we've got to do is we've got these, the silver grommets on the other side. And what I'm going to do to get them out is just take the end of a screwdriver, and I got to get a hammer, a mallet, and gently pop these. So hang on. Right, now we're going to replace the grommets. We got these new black ones. You can see that. They're going to go in the other side. But first we got to get out the old ones. So what we'll do is put that there, and it's just about the right size to knock the silver one out. So there's the silver one, and it looks like those are the same identical size as the other ones. I might not even have to ream out anything or anything. This could be like a simple, how foolish to think, but it could be a simple procedure. There's two There's 3. See the silver grommets? We'll save those and maybe use them on another guitar someday. You never know, but it's a full set. I just changed them over. Why? Because it's my guitar. And I can do whatever the hell I want. And I want to have a different setup than what I have that it came with. So I'm doing it because I can, because it's my guitar. Let me show you what we got to do over here. So this is nice and clean. That's cool. So we're going to take the black new ones and see if they'll go in easy. They're looking like they're going to drive in. So what I got to do is get just a cloth to cover that so I don't beat up my new tuners. So don't go away. I'll be right back. I'm right here. There's 2 ways to do this. What we could do is take and cover this, try to set it up and get it straight, and drive it down tappity tap with a mallet. It looks like it's going hard. So what I may end up doing is getting my reamer and ream that out just a little bit further, because I want these to fit tight, but I don't want to force them in too far. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a step reamer. I'll be right back. So we're back, and this is a step reamer. By step, it goes down a little bit at a time, and that's what we're going to do, is go down this a little bit at a time and see if we can just make the hole a little bit bigger on this side to accept that grommet a little bit easier. And when you do that, you don't destroy the paint on this side. And then, as I mentioned before, the other way you can place these is with a pair of pliers and a cloth. And just stick that over there and on both sides, and it's like a drill press, kind of. That's not going down too great yet. So we'll try again to give it a squeeze. See if it'll go in. I think I got to ream it out a little bit further. Try to line up the holes and give it the plunge that it needs. That's still kind of tight. It's down. It seems like it's a little high. Let's take this. See what happens if it allows it to seat all the way down. It is, and that's consumable, but I'd really like to get it down a little tighter. It's not quite tight enough, and getting it out now is going to be a bit of a pain because I have pushed it in under pressure, and we can go back and knock it back out again with our knocker outer. We'll just do it from this side. Poof! There it goes running around the floor. So we'll pick that up. And so we're back, and we're back reaming. I got to ream out each one of these individually to try to get it down to the right size to accept that grommet to where it needs to go. Let me just get a feel for going a little bit. Pull up and relieve the pressure. Let's try a different angle. What if we bring it down? Bring it down to working level. Then you can kind of see the bite, I think. As this bites into the wood, you can see the sawdust dropping out of the bottom. And then we'll see how well this goes with a test fit. I think what I'm not going to do this time is go too early. want it to sit down well. Not quite. So I'll give this a few more spins. That's okay. That's okay. So now we'll move on and finishing up, and I'll be back. Okay, so there's all 6 grommets placed. Now what we're going to do is flip the guitar over and put the tuners themselves in from the back and screw them in place. And I'll show you how we're going to do that in 1 second here. So we'll do the flip. And we'll get everybody in the picture. And that's how that's going to go. So we start with a starter. And you can really start either bottom or the top. So that's the bottom one. So we'll see how that lines up. And that looks pretty good. And then we'll take another inline one and drop it down and see how that goes. So this looks like it's going to work out fairly well, amazingly enough. So what we're going to do, I think, is sink the first screw of the day here, as soon as I find my screwdriver. Here it is. So let's take this, and I can see the hole right there in front of me. And I still missed. Sorry about the finger. Oh shit. Face worse than death. I dropped the screw on the floor. I'm gonna have to go find that in a second. Alright, there's the first hole. We'll get this part of the way in. And then we'll get the next screw and see if we can line the head up with the screw up, so to speak. These are very tight to get them in the hole. And if they're holed correctly, they'll just go in one right after the other very nicely. So I think we've got to place the next tuner. Try to get them in there before we get them very tight and line them all up. And then place the screws one at a time so that everything goes along hunky-dory and they all sit down. That's the finish guy. There's the middle guy. So, it's a matter of making sure the lineup is in the lineup. Alright, so I'll be back in a minute after we finish placing a fuse case. So there's the tuners are all placed. I did have to grind the edge of this one down because these are made in China. And all these parts that are made funny don't exactly fit the way the other ones did. They're close, but no cigar. Because the bushings had to be drilled out, the bodies sit a little funny, so I ground down one to make it so that they could all sit flat. If they don't sit flat, then they're not going to ever work right. Okay, so we did fix that, and that's all done. And the next thing we're going to do is change the small thing from silver strap button to black strap button. I just got these in the mail yesterday because I ran out. But we got the black, and that's what I wanted. Oh, I got to get a black screw. I'm not going to put a silver screw in a black thing. That would be stupid. I got a box of screws. I'm going to get them and I'll be right back. And then we'll flip this over and I'll show you the front of the tunas too. All right, a great mystery solved. We replaced the black with a black, the silver with a black screw and a black felt washer. For whatever reason, I don't know. So I guess it doesn't hurt the finish when you screw it in. But anyway, that fits perfect. And I got another one to go on the back, and I'll do that. And, well, let's go down and do it right now. Go down here and get the back from a silver screwer to a black. With the magic of video, we'll take this one out. We'll say goodbye to silver and go to the totally black, as much as we can, black system. Pretty cute. And here we'll clean that hole up a little bit. We'll go find the black piece we just put together. And here it comes. And there's another black strap button. And this actually, other than putting the strings back on, will be the conclusion of the red Sonoran MakeOver. Pretty cute, huh? So that's that. Let's come back up here. We'll get ready to flip. So there's the new F-style tuners from the back, all installed, all lined up. Whoa, we're hooked onto the new black screw box. Let's bring this all over, all down, and then you can see how much more handsome it is and manly with the black F-style tuners and the black string tree. And we did the black pegs from the white ones. We took the white stupid pick guard off. This is dirty and needs to be cleaned up again now. And we put the red strings on. And we did the red on the nut and on the saddle with magic marker and personalized it that much. So now we're going to take that piece off and see if we can't get the strings untangled and put them back on. This is going to be a bit of a mess. Oh, maybe not so bad. All right, so what we got to do is to get this thing straightened around, and then we're going to drive the string right down the hole. And that's the way the F tuners work. And then you can wrap them around like that. We'll see if we can't regain everything we've lost and try to get these under. Like that. And then we'll get the super string winder out on the trail. And see if we can't get this going the right way. Oops. And get the first string down. Back. And that's the way it's going to go. Now you see there's no end sticking out. This is the way that the early electric guitars were built. And that's what we're trying to do, is sort of recreate some of the old and the new and make it all happen. So I'm going to finish stringing up and I'll be back and I'll show you the finish. All right, so here's the Fender Sonoran all finished off with the black F-style tuners all in place, with the black roller, with the black strap nut, with the black end pins, with the black, can't even see it, can you? With the black guitar strap belt, and the manly red nut up top and the bridge down below in red, the white silly pick guards and the white flavored stuff all gone. Nice looking guitar, sounds good, plays good, feels good. Made in China. The guy lied to me. told me it was made in Mexico. It's not made in Mexico. It says right there it's made in China. See if I can get the light in the window here. China. But anyway, it plays really good. It's a good playing guitar. We did the fingerboard inlays. Those are all finished. We put the red strings on to set the tone. Nice. CandyApple red. Do the video. Okay, so that's the finish. It's got Fishman pickups, acoustic, electric. Sounds really good both ways, both acoustic and electric. With the nice black tuners, black parts. Come out really well. The red inlays, made by Giacomo. And the China made Fender California Series Sonoran here at the Black Dog Cafe.